The Last of Us is a brand new story to me. I've never played the game, I've avoided any spoilers, and I've largely ignored my idiot friends who kept saying Joel was, quote, the best fictional character ever written. So anyway, this is my first time round, and while I really liked the first few eps, I wanted to let my early season excitement die down a bit before anointing it the next great TV show. But now that we're 6 episodes in, it's pretty clear that this will be one of the best shows of 2023. There's just too many things going right. I've liked the cinematography, which oscillates between sweeping landscapes and intimate close-ups, the sound design, which emphasizes that often our greatest fear is what we can't see, the score, which I'll get to in a bit, the seamless integration of CGI into the practical sets, which is a tricky balance to strike for any modern production, and the zombies, which are genuinely terrifying but only used sparingly. All these elements deserve their own video. It really has been that impressive. But the best thing, at least to me, has been the writing. Specifically, how quickly the writers are able to flesh out characters, pun definitely intended, in only a few scenes. Part of this is the pacing. There are frantic moments, sure, and the occasional high-octane escape sequence, but for the most part, these are balanced with slower establishing shots and conversations. Ellie and Joel shooting the shit.
So what's the deal with you anyway? You some kind of bigwig's daughter or something?
Shooting at targets.
Rifle just sucks.
Okay.
Messing around. Basically, it never feels rushed, which is wildly impressive for what I thought was going to be a frantic survival show. And this pacing shows that the writers were given the creative control by HBO to include whatever they thought would make the best story. And the reason we know that the writers were given this freedom is the episode lengths. 81 minutes, 53, 75, 45, 59, 59. These sporadic, almost random minute totals aren't an accident. It's indicative of what has made HBO so successful for so long. Trust in the creative people they hire to make these shows. If co-creators Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann want a movie-length pilot, they're gonna get it. They want a 75-minute episode to explore 2 completely new characters, they're gonna get it, because HBO trusts their ability to adapt the source material. And they should, because Mazin wrote the Emmy Award-winning scary movie the Emmy Award-winning Hangover that's not right. The Emmy Award-winning Chernobyl, which is a fantastic exploration of human nature during disaster. But more importantly, Neil Druckmann co-created and wrote the game, so it's pretty vital that HBO gave him creative control. And this trust has clearly paid off, as I've never been bored. Every episode feels different from the last, and I've found myself forming strong connections with peripheral characters who are only in the show for a few scenes, which is what I want to talk about today. I cried at the end of episode 5, and I haven't cried since, like, I don't know, Toy Story 3 or something. And this was because a character died that I'd met only an hour earlier. Which sounds pretty stupid, but the foundation for this started long before episode 5, because the show hinges on the creation of meaningful relationships. Of course, the main relationship is Joel and Ellie. It's probably the only one that really matters. They're traveling across the country to find people who can make a cure. She's the chosen one with the special blood, and he's the powerful protector.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not hurt, nothing?
I don't think so.
And it's the development of their accidental father-daughter relationship that anchors the show. Like, do I really care about the end game here, that they might find someone who can make a zombie cure? Well, yeah, kinda. I care about their fates, but I'm way more interested in curmudgeon-y old Joel having to deal with a sarcastic, impatient Ellie.
Why isn't he with you?
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours? Because I think that's what we got.
This is clearly good comic relief, but it's heartwarming, relatable family bickering, which is so much more entertaining than a gore-filled snooze fest. Like, you don't have to look any further than last year's Resident Evil Netflix series for how not to do this show. After a combative start to their relationship, Ellie slowly melts Joel's cold heart, which he doesn't know how to deal with. He wants to protect her, he wants to make up for not being able to save Sarah, but he also clearly feels guilty about potentially replacing his dead daughter. Loss, pain, and love are constantly battling for supremacy within Joel, which makes him a fascinating hero. And what better way to amplify this pain than kill off his love interest only 2 episodes in? Tess gets bitten, he can't save her, and Joel has to compartmentalize another heartbreaking moment in order to keep going. Ellie becomes his purpose, and they start drifting through the post-apocalyptic world.
You got up pretty early if you want to grab more sleep.
I'm not even tired.
But any of these father-daughter feel-good moments are undercut by the reality that Ellie can't really tell if Joel is a good guy or not.
Did you kill innocent people?
And to be honest, I can't either because I've never played the game, so she's basically an audience surrogate for me. Just like Ellie, who's experiencing everything for the first time, she's never been in the real world, I don't trust anyone we meet. Old couple could be evil. Friendly child could be evil. Joel's own brother, yeah, I'm not trusting you. And this sort of skepticism is fun because it puts you in their shoes while the new characters drive the story. They're basically checkpoints for Joel and Ellie to learn from in what I assume is a format that mimics the game. But the beauty of the writing is that each character gets such an impressive backstory that I genuinely don't know how long they're sticking around for. For instance, I thought this woman was going to be the big bad for the rest of the season. Nope. These guys seem like they'd be useful allies for Joel and Ellie. Nope. And I thought Henry and Sam would stick around for a while, and oh my god, no! They're either killed or they leave by the end of their introduction, which is an amazing template for an adventure show. Like I said before, the episodes never feel rushed due to the amazing writing, but nothing ever stagnates because the supporting characters are replaced almost every episode. Which brings us to the beautifully sad ending to episode 5. For some context, episode 4 ends with Joel and Ellie getting woken at gunpoint. Flashbacks reveal that these two baddies are Henry, a collaborator, and his little brother Sam. They're being hunted by this woman because apparently Henry is responsible for her brother's death, and so they enroll the help of Joel and Ellie to get them out of the city.
Saying they're going to help us escape.
And I felt sorry for Sam immediately. Maybe Henry a little bit too, because I don't really know how guilty he is, but Sam's a little kid, he's deaf, and most importantly, he's innocent. All we know is that he likes superheroes and food. And I can't hate him for liking food, I love food. Anyway, everything starts great. They go through some tunnels that Henry says are empty.
See? It's empty. The plan is good.
And surprisingly, they are. No zombie things, and the kids get to hang out a bit.
No way! I love these!
And this carefree interaction gives us hope, which doesn't happen very much in this show. Ellie finally has another kid to hang out with, and Joel is simultaneously reminded of the past and given a glimpse of the potential future, which reinforces their mission to find a cure. But then the bad guys show up, accidentally release all the fungus people, and things get really out of hand. But luckily, the good guys get away unscathed. Joel invites Henry and Sam to come with them.
You know, if you want to.
Yeah.
And it feels like things are finally getting better, some positivity in the show, but then the kids sit down for a chat.
I read you. You came for me.
And I think the reason this scene got me so bad was the lack of dialogue. Sam's deaf and so communicates by writing. This is really slow, and through the 4-minute conversation, they only write 11 sentences to each other. If this was a spoken conversation, it'd be over in like 25 seconds, but instead, we have to absorb what they're saying and sit with each sentence. So anyway, Sam wants to confide in Ellie, asking if she's scared. She messes around for a bit, but then confesses her greatest fear. This is sad for sure, like I assume it'd be everyone in a post-apocalyptic world, but then Sam confesses his. And the sad futility of this line got me. You don't have to see the bite, you don't have to see him turn, all you need is this innocent question from the mind of a child trying to somehow rationalize becoming a monster. With this line, we know that Sam is doomed, and it's made even sadder when Ellie desperately tries to heal him by rubbing her blood on his wound. Like she said, she doesn't want to end up alone, and the only way to do that is she has to keep her friends alive. Morning comes, he's turned, and they burst into the other room. Henry sees that Joel's going to shoot Sam to save Ellie, jumps in as the protective brother, but his instincts take over. And once he realizes what he's done,
What did I do?
Henry decides that he can't keep living too. It is a brutal 5-minute sequence with very little dialogue in a very simple setting, but it goes from Ellie and Sam reading a comic book to both Sam and Henry being dead 5 minutes later. And this is a good microcosm of the show, how quickly things can go from hope to despair. In just 5 minutes, all the hope from the last hour is completely snuffed out. They're on their own now, and Joel is the only thing standing between Ellie and her biggest fear.
I can't fucking do this without you.
To finish, I could compare this to other sad scenes from the show so far. There's been a few, or even expand on the brilliant performances, which are great. I didn't even mention it, but everyone's doing a great job in this show. But for now, I'll leave you with the final thing Sam wrote.